neglect? Have you ever stood at the edge of everything collapsing and all you could do was raise your hands and say, "Oh Allah, you are enough for me"? Have you ever experienced that moment when everything you relied upon, people, wealth, plants fell apart and all that remained was your connection with your Maker? That moment is not your defeat. That moment is your turning point. When you let Allah be enough for you, you'll witness how He reshapes your world in ways you never imagined. You see, we live in a world that teaches us to seek validation from everything around. User friends, our careers, our status, our possessions. We are constantly trying to prove our worth, constantly trying to be enough for others. But the truth is, no matter how much you try, the world can never give you the peace that comes from knowing that Allah is enough. The world will always take more than it gives. But Allah, He is Al-Wahhab, the one who gives freely, constantly and generously. When you say with conviction, Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakil, Allah is sufficient for me and He is the best disposer of affairs, you are not just uttering words. You are handing over the burden of your soul to the one who never sleeps, never tires, never abandons, never errs. You are saying, Ya Allah, I trust you even when I don't understand. I believe in your wisdom even when I feel lost. I surrender to your plan even when mine has failed. When you truly rely on Allah, you fear nothing but losing Him. That reliance is not just a phrase we repeat with our tongues, it's a condition of the heart, a powerful state of being that separates those who live with purpose from those who live in confusion. In this world filled with uncertainties, heartbreaks, rejections, betrayals and disappointments, there's one constant that never changes, the presence of Allah. When you come to the realization that everything around you is temporary, but Allah is eternal, your entire outlook shifts. You begin to see life differently. You begin to understand that every hardship you face is not a punishment, but a reminder that your heart must not be tied to what is fragile. When the heart clings to what can be taken away, it is constantly afraid. But when the heart clings to the one who never leaves, that heart becomes fearless. How many times do we panic when people let us down, or when things don't go according to our plans? How often do we lose sleep because someone unfollowed us, someone didn't respond to our messages, or someone rejected our efforts? But the reality is, none of these people had control in the first place. They are mere creations, and we must remind ourselves that our peace was never meant to come from creation. Our peace comes from the Creator. The one who truly relies on Allah understands that people's opinions don't define them, positions don't elevate them, and losses don't destroy them. When your connection with Allah is strong, everything else becomes secondary. You no longer fear the storms because you know the one who commands the winds. You no longer dread the night because you know the one who created the morning. True reliance on Allah does not mean we sit back and do nothing. It means we act with full effort, but our hearts remain tied to Him, not the results. You apply for the job, but your trust is not in the company, it's in the one who provides. You visit the doctor, but your hope is not in the prescription, it's in the one who heals. You build your home, raise your children, work for your future, but you understand deep within that your success lies in the help of Allah. This kind of reliance brings freedom. It frees you from the chains of stress, anxiety and fear. When your focus shifts from what if this doesn't work to even if it doesn't, Allah will bring better, that's when you begin to live with strength. There are countless stories of those who came before us, prophets, companions, righteous believers whose lives were filled with trials, but their hearts were anchored in tawakkul, true reliance upon Allah. Take the example of Musa, peace be upon him, when he stood before the sea with Pharaoh's army behind him. The people with him panicked, but he didn't. Why? Because his reliance wasn't on escape routes, it was on the one who creates paths where none exist. He said with complete certainty, indeed with me is my Lord. He will guide me. That confidence came from reliance. And what happened next? The sea opened. Not because it made sense, but because when you rely on Allah, the impossible becomes possible. In our lives, we face moments where we feel trapped emotionally, financially, spiritually. We feel surrounded with no way out. But in those moments, if you can train your heart to say, with me is my Lord, and believe it, then you will witness doors open from directions you never imagined. You must learn to trust the silence. You must learn to trust the delay. You must learn to trust the closed doors. Not every no is a rejection, some are redirections. Not every delay is a denial, some are divine timing. But only those who rely on Allah can see that clearly. When reliance becomes your foundation, your entire demeanor changes. You speak differently, you think differently. You walk with dignity, not because of arrogance, but because you know your worth is defined by your Creator, not by the creation. You serve others, but you don't become enslaved to their praise or wounded by their criticism. You do good not for recognition, but because it pleases the one who sees it all. You don't lose yourself chasing temporary happiness because your joy is rooted in something permanent. There is a tranquility that comes with letting go of control. You plan, but you also surrender. You prepare, but you also pray. You try, but you also trust. This balance is the secret of those who live peacefully in a chaotic world. The ones who smile through hardship are not naive. They are aware of the pain, but they are more aware of the one who manages their affairs. They cry in sujood and walk out with calm hearts, not because their problems disappeared, but because their trust in Allah grew deeper. That is the essence of true reliance. He who brought you this far will not abandon you now. Look back at your life. Think of every moment you thought you couldn't move forward, every time you felt like giving up, every tear you shed in secret, every prayer you whispered through trembling lips. You made it through. Not because you had all the answers, but because Allah carried you. Even when you didn't realize it, even when you doubted yourself, even when you were far from Him, He never let you go. He brought you through pain, through loss, through fear, through loneliness, and He placed you here today. Why would He abandon you now? We often look at our current struggles and forget our past victories. We panic because we forget how far we've come. We think we are alone because we forget how many times Allah made a way when there was none. That job you got when you thought you had no chance, that healing that came when you were breaking, that strength you found when you were falling apart, all of it was from Him. So why now, in this new difficulty, would you believe that He will leave you? Allah's love is not seasonal. It's not based on how many good deeds you've done this week or how pious you look in front of others. His love is consistent, patient, merciful. He sees the goodness in your heart even when the world only sees your mistakes. He knows your efforts even when no one acknowledges them. He hears your dua even when your voice is silent. He is not like the people who give up on you. He never tires of forgiving, never tires of helping, never tires of lifting you when you fall. So stop thinking you're too far gone. Stop thinking your problems are too big. The one who created the stars, the oceans and the skies can surely handle your life. But there's something important to understand. The help of Allah does not always come in the way we imagine. Sometimes it comes through ease, and sometimes it comes through tests. Sometimes it's a person sent into your life, and sometimes it's someone taken away. Sometimes the help of Allah looks like comfort, and sometimes it looks like struggle, but in every case it is help. The storm is not a punishment, it's a preparation. The closed door is not rejection, it's protection. The delay is not neglect, it's perfection. But this clarity only comes to those who trust deeply. Those who say, Ya Allah, I don't know why, but I know You do, and I know You will never leave me. You have to reach a point where your faith is not shaken by outcomes, where your heart is so connected to Allah that even if the whole world turns its back on you, you still walk with peace. Because you know the one who created your path is watching over you. You know that He will never waste your tears, your pain, your patience. Every single moment you endure is being recorded by the most just, the most merciful, and what He has prepared for you in return is far greater than anything you've lost. You may not see the wisdom now. You may be struggling to understand why things happen the way they did, but that's okay. You're not supposed to understand everything immediately. You're supposed to trust. Just like a child doesn't understand why the medicine tastes bitter, but takes it because they trust their parent, you must trust Allah, even when the decree feels heavy. He sees what you don't, He knows what you don't, and He loves you more than you love yourself. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, remember this: Allah did not bring you this far to leave you. He brought you here so you can rise even higher, so you can become stronger, wiser, purer, so you can draw closer to Him. Every difficulty is an invitation to return, to reflect, to reconnect. Don't waste that opportunity by focusing only on the pain. Look beyond it. See what it's doing for your heart. Let it teach you, let it soften you, let it lead you back to the one who never left. True freedom is in surrendering to the one who controls it all. We live in a world where everyone is running after control of time, control of people, control of outcomes, and control of their future. But the irony is, the more we try to control, the more restless we become. The more we try to hold on to everything, the more it slips away. That's because we were not created to control everything. We were created to submit to the one who does. And it is in that surrender that we discover peace. A peace that the world cannot give. A peace that material possessions cannot provide. A peace that is not tied to circumstances but to your relationship with your Creator. When you finally surrender your heart and say, Ya Allah, I don't have the power, but you do, that is when your heart breathes freely for the first time. When you acknowledge that your job, your family, your health, your wealth, all of it is from Him and under His control, that is when the shackles of anxiety begin to break. We often think that freedom means being able to do what we want, when we want, how we want, but look around. Those who follow every desire, those who try to live without boundaries, are often the most broken inside. Their hearts are restless, their souls are empty, and their lives feel meaningless. That's because the soul was not created to follow whims. It was created to worship. And when it is detached from its purpose, it suffers. True freedom isn't about doing whatever pleases the self. True freedom is being liberated from what enslaves the self. When you are no longer a slave to people's opinions, to society's expectations, to worldly attachments, and you become a servant of the Most Merciful, then and only then are you truly free. Surrendering to Allah doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong. It allows you to walk through the tests of life without being crushed. You stop fearing loss because you know the one who can restore. You stop panicking over outcomes because you know the one who controls results. You stop stressing about the future because you know who holds it. This is the strength of faith. And that faith grows every time you let go and let Allah take over. It grows every time you cry in prayer, not because you're defeated, but because you finally stopped fighting the qadr of Allah. The moment you say, I submit, I trust, I surrender, that is the moment your heart begins to heal. Because now, instead of carrying the burden alone, you're placing it with the one who never gets tired. Sometimes Allah takes away from us to remind us who we belong to. Sometimes He withholds to redirect us. Sometimes He tests us to purify us. And sometimes He delays us to protect us. If you don't understand it now, that's okay. You're not meant to understand everything immediately. You are meant to trust. You are meant to keep walking with faith even when the road is foggy. You are meant to say, if my Lord brought me here, then He has a reason. And if I stay close to Him, I'll be okay. That kind of surrender doesn't come overnight. It comes from practice. From remembering Him constantly. From praying even when your heart is heavy. From choosing patience when it would be easier to complain. From choosing gratitude when it would be easier to dwell on what's missing. Every time you make those choices, your surrender deepens. And with that surrender, peace follows. Let go of the burden you were never meant to carry. This world can be overwhelming. So many expectations, so many responsibilities, so many demands. But not everything you're carrying belongs to you. Some of the weight on your shoulders is made up of things Allah never asked you to carry. Worrying about what people think. Stressing over what hasn't happened yet. Holding on to past mistakes. Feeling responsible for things beyond your control. These are burdens that only weigh down the heart and cloud the mind. And the longer you carry them, the more exhausted you become. There comes a point where your soul begins to whisper, enough. That whisper is your fitrah calling you back to the one who created it. That whisper is reminding you that there's a place where these burdens can be placed, where the pain can be released, where the fear can be eased, and that place is in sujood. How often do we try to fix every